They're contracted, they're short-term employees that are paid hourly. So they're not full-time employees that are getting benefits or anything like that. So with the increase of the referrals that we've received, we have increased already the number of behavioral health counselors that we have actually hired. So this is to go ahead and take care of the referrals so we can serve the students that are being referred to us. If you notice there on the second section, the new short term, I've got that bolded. If you look on the far right-hand side, I have no costs in there for them at this point in time. Only because we haven't hired them yet. If we get increased services, then we would have to go ahead and hire additional behavioral counselors as necessary based on the referrals that are being sent to the SELPA. So all of our, in the top section there, in the certificated, we have all of our counselors, and then we have one psychologist, Jan Van Dyke, who is going to be dealing with some of the behavioral issues. And I know that Joan had wanted me to go ahead and include this here because we were looking at making a little bit of changes in some of the, in how we're going to serve some of those students. So the 683,935, that's where I plugged it in on the budget side, and the 526,350 where I put it on my budget. See where I got all of that? Okay, and then yes, there's indirect. Oh, is it indirect? Oh, it's on my sheet of work. Yes, I have it on the budget. Go ahead and go to the next page. This next page is basically where I got the summary for column J on the summary page. So this is, we have on the certificated side, this is Joan Wright. These are staff members that are currently funded either by the XPOT, by the regional services, or the fee-for-service that are not counseling fee-for-service. Okay, so this is Joan Riley. I have her on here as 25%. And what I did was I went ahead, because I figured you guys are probably going to ask, where are they currently funded? So I'm going to kind of give you where they're currently funded right now. Right now, Joan Riley is funded 95% out of the regional services, and she's 5% out of the XPOP. And what will happen is she'll be going 25% to the mental health budget, and we'll be decreasing those two budgets by 25%. And then we have Ann Savage. She is currently funded 100% out of the XPOT, and Ann Savage is the one that does all of our non-public school and agency, mostly non-public school IEPs here, which are the also our residential kids. So we went ahead and we split her time half because it's about half what she's actually doing. She's also going to be doing, at this point in time, some of our monitoring because we have quarterly, which I think is going to be biannual, and that there may be some changes.
Probably. She was saying she has so many IEPs, it may be Maureen that does that, so we'll have to work out, you know, some of the details to.
So we're projecting that 50% of her time is on residential kids and 50% is on the regular non-public schools and agency IEPs that she deals with. And again, she was 100% out of the XPOP. Now if we go down to the classified staff, we have the self-specialist who is currently, okay, where is she? She is currently funded 95% out of the regional services budget and 5% out of the fee-for-service budget. And she's now going to be budgeted 10% in the mental health budget, which would decrease those. So it's most likely it's going to be decreasing the 284 for her. And we'll take a look at those exactly which ones we're going to be decreasing, but we have an idea without going into specifics. The other ones will be decreased. Then I have myself, and as you can see, this is as the position as the consultant. Identifying 25% of my time would be allocated to the mental health area. Currently, I'm 100% funded as a fiscal analyst too in the 284 budget. So that would be splitting that. Blanca Guerrero, she is currently funded.
What's the 284 budget?
Pardon me?
What's 284?
284 is regional services, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Then if I go to Blanca, Blanca is currently funded 50% ex PAC, 50% regional services. And now she's going to go 25% mental health, so those will be decreased 25%. Then we have Wendy Howell, who is our office specialist 2. She's currently at 197 days. We have been authorizing additional days for her to help keep up with some of the residential as well as some of our non-public school ISAs that have to get done. So part of the process, we've been giving her additional days on for a couple, probably 2-3 years already. And this is taking a look at her at full-time. Instead of extra hours, it would be actually full-time. And she will go 25% to the mental health. She is currently funded 25% out of the ex-POP and 75% out of the regional services. And then we have Karen Johnson. We're proposing 25% out of the mental health budget as an office manager. She is currently funded as a administrative assistant in 5% in the ex-POT and 95% in the regional services. And then the last one is Nikki Vinatieri. We're looking at funding her 25% in the mental health, because these are all in alignment with their actually doing mental health residential type services support. So Nikki is currently funded 100% out of the ex-POP. So that's where the support numbers are coming from. All the numbers are coming from there.
And we know these are projected, or these are actual what you're getting paid now, or what you're projecting?
I am projecting, in these items here, I'm projecting what's on this sheet. So for each one of these, so it's increased, it's different positions, and for Karen and myself, as well as for Wendy Howe. So those are the 3 changes that we're looking at here at all.
But is it an increase in salary?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Joan might want to talk. I would prefer not to have that discussion myself. I think it needs to come from Joan. I'm just going to explain where the numbers are and how I was asked to put them in there. So this is what I'm doing. And then if we go to the next page, this is the estimated facility cost. Currently, our counselors are at 2 separate locations within Central School District. They're in a room like this. They're basically in a classroom which has really no privacy. We're looking at, because we're having increased counseling services and just the unity of the group and all the things, looking at actually having a mental health facility where we could do some of maybe the parenting, counseling, and some of those things there also. We're looking at another facility. The facility that we happen to be looking at right now, which was at a relatively good lease rate, was the facility right across the parking lot here. It used to be Kaiser Pediatrics, and they're leasing that out. So I have the lease information here, which is currently, I gave it a 7-month. Let's go with the 7-month, because that's what it would be for this year. Well, if this goes through. These are the projections for the lease, 7 months at $8,000. So you can just go utilities, pest control, fire alarm, custodial, carpet cleaning. We use the basis of this based on the square footage estimates that we've received from county office for Frost, because they'll be contracted with the same people. So we made the same assumption that if it's square foot cost there, it should be the square foot cost here. So that's what the assumptions there are. So that's the $128,338 that hopefully is on the front sheet. I've done this so many times.
It is.
Thank you. So, and then I put at the bottom just an annual estimate, because this is just a partial year, and that was just kind of more for information. So, Any questions on what this summary on your French page of C2? Any questions on any of that, or
I have a
if you want to address?
I
Yes.
do.
Okay.
In column, I guess that's I. How did you arrive at those numbers?
Schedule E1.
No, but I mean, like, is that based on?
Yeah.
If you look at E1, those are based on the actual fee for service, because we currently have a fee for service for our counseling
So
service.
this is on actual, not
This
experience.
was last year's actuals plus 25%.
So instead of paying it out of the fee for service and reducing your 6,500, allocation to this, they're gonna fund that, the proposal is to fund it as mental health money, so you won't be charged additional 6,500. It'll basically increase.
So this will have an impact on the AB 602 funds?
Correct, because what's happening, what this counseling, what we're proposing in column I, which is the self-counseling right now, we're proposing funding that out of the mental health. Currently, it's funded out of AB 602 dollars, and it comes off the top of your allocation of AB 602 dollars. So what will happen, all of the counseling services that are currently in our AB 602 funding model, those will go away because they're not going to be part of the AB 602 funding. They're only going to be part of the mental health money. So, say for instance, Chafee, I don't know what the numbers, well, you can guess, it'll show back here. But let's say you spend,
Well, it shows it right here.
it'll show it.
Yeah, so the 639,000 you would have paid out of your AB 602,
Less 25%.
yeah, you will now get back in your AB 602 funding, in addition to the last column where you're getting for mental health services that you're providing.
Right.
Okay, so in the mental health, those are students that we're sending, or who's placing those students in mental health?
The
Is there
mental,
mental health facilities, or?
no, these are students that the majority of the all the self-counseling are students that are residing in our districts, and the districts are referring them to the self-before counseling.
Then the other question I have is, as on AB 602, you guys take that money off the top
Yes.
first, and then you distribute the balance. So for these services, you're doing an allocation prior to.
And that's what this is actually showing.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so why not take these funds, take the expense off the top, and then distribute the balance?
That's
That's
what this is doing.
Column
So-
2 is
so-
the balance.
so
for
column
previous
F.
year.
Column F would have been your allocation if we just gave it all to you, except for the mental health.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but why not take the expenses off the top and then distribute?
That's what
Is
we're,
it?
because your allocation is actually over here in column O and P. Well, all column O is your allocation. And that, you're not gonna get that allocation. It's already showing the deduct for counseling and for all of those 4 services. So that's exactly what you're asking, that's exactly what this is doing.
No, but I mean, instead of, so you have to show the expenses by district, then it's not like you do I think you do on the other, you said you take it off the top before the allocation is distributed.
Off the top, even off the top in AB 602
So in
is
other words,
based
you've
on,
got $5.6 million worth of revenue, you take off the top 1.3 million,
and the 241,
and then you distribute the
and
balance.
the 128.
So does that make it any different? I don't know if it does or doesn't, but
It might be some rounding issues, but I mean, we're pretty close to what you're doing here. She's just proportionately distributing the expense and then giving you the balance.
That's what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, to take it off the top of the.
Well, it may all come, but
Because
but
this
we
would be
have to
based on
relate it back
your
to the
usage, so if you send more
Right.
kids to individual counseling, you're going to pay more proportionately for that. If, so, it's the same way our overall, fee-for-service works. You have a choice to either purchase the services at a fee, or if you can provide them in district, you would do that. So,